So now I'm going to introduce the speaker, our guest for today. All right, our guest today is Dr. Wahid ALTOWAYTI. He obtained his Ph.D. degree in Bioscience from UTM. So currently he's a postdoctorate researcher at Micropolitan Research Center in UTHM. He is an active researcher in the areas of heavy metal removal technology, nanobiotechnology, and wastewater treatment. Currently, he has 12 isolated bacteria registered in the National Center for Biotechnology Information, a section in the United States National Library of Medicine. He has successfully published more than 13 papers in both SCOPUS and international conferences and synthesized novel nanoparticles in the removal of arsenic species and nitrite found in wastewater. Furthermore, he had experience in undertaking projects on membrane consisting electromagnetic sensors array for detection of nitrite and production of self-healing concrete using microbial calcium when he was in UTM. Moreover, he was once a supervisor in the Laboratory of Biosensor and Molecular Biology in the Faculty of Bioscience. Without further ado, let us welcome our guest today, Dr. Wahid ALTOWAYTI, to present tips and tricks on how to publish in high impact factor journal. Over to you, Dr. Ali.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'm going to share my expertise and what I did during my journey for publication. I share and I hope everyone here will get benefits from this one. Today I explain how to publish in high impact journal from title to references. My name is Dr. Wahid Ali. This is my email if anyone need to contact me in the future. Outline for workshop today. Need to search first about the current status of the journal. Second, why do scientists publish? Why we need to publish? Third, what is a good manuscript? You know how to publish in high impact journals. You should have a good manuscript. Then how to write a good manuscript for an international journals. There is the 3 steps. We will inshallah explain this one together. Preparation before starting, construction of an article, and the technical details. This is the outline of the workshop today. Current status of the journals. How can we know that this journal is in high impact factors or no? How we know this journal is a real journal or some journals is a fake journals, as you know. For example, like we have like 2 journals, ecotoxicology and environmental safety, and also environmental science and pollutant research. For an example, like I need to publish in this journal or other journals or any journals you have in your field. How to know this journals is like Q1, Q2, Q3, or this journal is a real journals or under SCOPUS or no? This is the SCOPUS database. You can see here. I show you maybe a small practice for this one. Like I copy the name of the journals. I know like for the SCOPUS, you can see here, this is the SCOPUS database. I just paste the name of the journals, then I make search. We will see now, is this journal in SCOPUS or not in SCOPUS? If you don't find this journal in the SCOPUS, maybe you can need to publish in that journals, because at least for PhD or master, the journal should be in SCOPUS. You see now we found this journal in the SCOPUS, and now you can see in SCOPUS Q1. SCOPUS is not required to be Q1, Q2, but at least to have in the SCOPUS. But how can we know this one in ISI journals? This is the database for the ISI journals. I put it here. And should have access from UTM. UTM have access, like UTHM, any access, because this one is not free. You need to pay for this one. But UTM, UTHM, or universities, they already pay. Well, you can just same as before. This one, you just put the name of the journal you need to search. Now you see it's like ISI journal or no. You see here, I just press the name of the journals. The name of the journals is here. That means this one ISI. Then you get all the details from ISI. This one, Web of Science. Impact factor 6.29. You can see this one the years, how is this one improved. You can know also if there is have more than one section, and all these details you see this journal has two sections, environmental science and toxicology. And you can see in environmental science, some journals in one part Q1, in other part Q2, in one part Q2, other part Q3. There is different part, depending on your work. Like this journal in environmental science Q1, in toxicology also Q1. That means this journal in two parts is Q1. This is the history. When you start, this one like start when 90, 97, Q2, then Q3, then Q2. You see the history. Now you need to publish this year. To is not now the last is 2020 is Q1. From this one you understand now. This what I publish is Q1 in this year. This is the how to know the current status of the journals. Like same, I give another practice for the other one. Same this one. If you just try to copy here, see here. This is the name of the journal. That's means this ISI, an impact factor 4.223, less than the previous journals. You say here. Now, environmental science. This have only one section, environmental science, and the journal Q2 journals. Now you understand what journals you are targeted. Also, if you need like to know, because some of them maybe found in SCOPUS, not found in ISI. Some journals found in ISI, but not in SCOPUS. Some of them like this too, they found in SCOPUS and also in ISI journals. You can see here what we searched before. It can found in both ISI and you see here. Also, if I search for this one, you see here, I already found this one in SCOPUS. That's means this journal in SCOPUS. If you don't find any journal in SCOPUS or any ISI, don't use your data to publish in some journal that is not indexed in SCOPUS or ISI. This is the example I gave. Now, publication is the most important measure for researcher. How do you know is you are an active researcher? Your publication. If you do a lot of work but you don't publish, no one can know you. And also, if you publish in high impact journal, that means the quality of your research is high. You can see here impact factor of the journal in which an article published. It depends on number of citation, number of publication. You can see here, for example, what we give these two journals I publish in this two, ecotoxicology and environmental safety, impact factor 6. Environmental science pollutant research, impact factor 4. That means the quality of the journal, number 1 is more than number 2. But it's okay, at least to have like Q1, Q2, or some even in Ph.D. master, sometimes they ask you to have even Q4. High submission, low quality. If you just to submit many people with low quality, is not good. Just try to have one paper with high quality. Instead of split your work to 3 papers to publish many work, it's not good. If you publish like 2 or 3 papers in high quality, better than you publish 10 papers with low quality, because many submission will give stress for the editor and reviewers. As you know, editors and reviewers are the most precious resources of journals. Editor and reviewers are practicing scientists, even leaders in their field. They are not professional journal staff. The staff they are for the journal, they don't have like special staff for the journal. They are the doctor who teach you, they are a researcher. All this one they do review. All your researcher, like your doctor, your supervisor, they review some paper. How do you know how much they are busy? The journal work in the side of their research, writing and teaching. They are busy people who work for the journal to contribute to the scientists. Why they need to do review? Just to need to contribute the good knowledge to the scientists. Editor maybe receive small payment, but the reviewer unpaid. Reviewer do this one for free. And in international editor says, you can see the following problem appear much too frequently. Submission of a paper which are clearly out of the scope. Be attention about this one. Don't submit the paper that is out of the scope. You do your work in environment and submit your paper in the material journals or energy journals. You should know what is the scope of the journals. This journal can publish your work or no. Not just you found the name of the journals and you find it is like a high impact, you submit it. Directly you will get this rejection. Try to submit to the journal that are in the scope of your study or research. Failure to format a paper according to the guide for the others. We'll explain about this one. Every journal he has his format. They put guidance for the others. How the space between the line, how you arrange your table, the size of the line, everything. You should read this one carefully and format the paper. Because if you submit it without formatting, a lot of journals will give you rejection because they say this was unrespected, inappropriate or not suggested reviewers. A lot of journals, they ask you to appoint some reviewers. You should know people who work in your area from the paper you read or from your friend or from your supervisor, because when you submit the journal, they will ask you to suggest reviewer. You should suggest a reviewer that know in your field, not suggesting reviewer that are not, they don't know anything in your field, that cannot review your paper. An adequate response to the reviewers. When they give you like response after you submit your paper, most of the people get comments. Try to respond to the comments. Not you see like if you give you small comment, you see okay, it's just a small comment. You need to do it like carefully. Sometimes even minor correction, it will get rejected if you don't do it accurately. An adequate standard of English. This is the most important. When you submit your paper, try to be nothing wrong with English. Resubmission of rejection manuscript without revision. When you get rejected of any manuscript, they give you the comment why they rejected. Try to improve. Try to address that comment, then you submit it again. Our publishing advice is as following. Submit to the right journal, scope and prestige. Check the journals. Submit to one journal only. Don't submit to two times in one time to two journals. Don't submit a small data. Pay attention to the journal requirement. What is they need for the formatting, anything, number of table, number of figures. Pay attention to the structure. Check the English. Pay attention to the ethical standards, similarity, any image, any figures you get, you take from others. How to find a suitable journals for your manuscript. I think this is a common question. Anyone he will ask. I already done my research. I already have my result. I already write everything. But how can I know what is the journal suitable for my research? This is the 4 things you can know. First, from your supervisor. Sometimes your supervisor told you submit to the Journal of Energy, submit to the Journal of Microbiology, submit to the Journal of Sensor, because he know is in your field, he's expert, and he knows your work to publish in that journal. But sometimes the supervisor told you search for any journals suitable for your work. He will not give you advice. What you do in this time? From friends at the same area of your research. You have your friend, maybe in same your field, in same in your lab, they already published similar to your work in any journal, carbon or microbiology or sensor or sustainability, any journal, environmental, any, you know your friend, they do in the same field of you, and you know the quality of the journal they did is okay. Try to submit your work in that same journal because it's in the same scope. Sometimes maybe you don't have friend in your lab, or maybe your topic is unique with others. From the reference of the manuscript, when you write your manuscript, you will have a lot of references, at least 30, 40, 50 references. Check what is the most journals you cited. That means most journal you cited almost into the journal, it will be suitable in the same journal. If you do this one, or you cannot find framework of research, such as, journal finder for Elsevier, for Springer, for Wiley, a lot of web research. Like I give one example here. Like any journals we need to search, I give this one of my paper I publish. This is you can see. This is published paper. Let's imagine this one is not published. You need you have this paper, you need to publish. How can you know? You already have your title. Just copy your title and go to search gate. You can see here Elsevier. They put here title. Put your title. And most of them they ask you about the title and abstract that you already write, and copy the abstract and come to paste here in the abstract. You already put here and title and abstract. Then they will ask you what is the field of your study. You choose here field. You are agriculture and biology scientist, biochemistry, genetics, environmental, immunology, choose your field. Like for me, I choose genetics. Then is biochemistry. He suggests for you number of the journal. You can see biotechnology report, and he give you now the details for this journals. Acceptance rate 29. Time of the decision of the reviewers, it will take 9 weeks, almost 2 months. Electronic Journal of Biotechnology. Impact you see impact factor 2.8. From the impact factor, you know how much is strong. Acceptance rate, this is the acceptance rate is less, but the decision from reviewer is less. This one, decision 2 weeks. Acceptance rate, impact factor, environmental research. Now already 6.4. Now you can see what was this one. Acceptance rate may be high. You search for acceptance rate, or you search for impact factor, or time of decision. Now from here you can decide it which journals. Like Springer also, they have the same. Like in here, the abstract. Here I put the title. Then select the area: agriculture, biomedical, biochemistry. Choose computer science. Choose what is the area for your life science. Any things in your area. Like for this one, let us see biochemistry. Same what we do before. Suggest journal. He give you suggestion. Also, if you look for the Wiley, a lot of publisher you see here, they give you 3 biotech. The decision take 55 days, almost 2 months. Acceptance rate 25. This one, impact factor 2.4. This impact factor 2.6. Now you understand the journal's impact factor, the time of decision, acceptance rate. This one, you see, acceptance rate is high, 47. But this one, acceptance rate is only 50%. Mean the chance in this journal will be higher than others. And impact factor 6 will be good. This how to use now. Why do scientists publish? Why we need to publish? What is your personal reason for publishing? To get PhD degree, to get funding, to get promoted, any reason of this one? Editor, reviewers, and research community don't care about these reasons. They need to see quality of your paper, not the reason of your paper publishing. You see why should scientific publish? Scientific publish to share with the scientist community something that is advanced, not repeated, knowledge and understanding in a certain field. This is the main reason for publishing. Like I give you here 2 of my paper I publish in Q1 journals and Q2. The aim of the present research was to remove nitrate ions from aqueous solution using a novel adsorbent of multi-wall carbon nanotubes functionalized with a novel mesoporous silica neutrinium ions under different operation conditions. This is I give like a novel adsorbent and novel function group or other journals. To the best of our knowledge, the present study is the first to report Megamonas and Brutophila in arsenic-rich gold mine. That means this is the two bacteria is the first time discovered in the gold mine. And also, interestingly, none of the bacteria isolated using Loria Bortani or chemical divine media were representative of the domain bacteria in situ. That means this is like advanced or interesting idea result that it will attract the editor to review and reviewer also to accept. Publish or perish. There are three necessary steps in useful research. The first to begin it. Like if you need to publish, first important thing, you need to begin to write your journals. If you start to write, this is the most important. The second, to finish. The third, to publish. Being published, immortality. Mean if you publish your work, it will be stay forever. Your paper is worthless if no one read, uses, or cited. This is I give you some idea before we start about writing the good manuscript. You know, a research study is meaningful only if someone else use it in a her or his study. This is the most important. You publish your work, other he will use your work to improve or cite it. Not just you publish and stay with no one use it or cite it. For this to happen, a paper has to be written in a way that arouses other scientists interested and allow others to reproduce the result. Only an understandable study can be reproduced. Only a reproducible work enable others to follow the lead. The number of scientists follow the lead is a measure of the impact of research study. Thus, in a way, a research study has to make a sell to other scientists. Like your study, you need to sell, like same a product. It will be an easy way, methodology, the others can repeat it and maybe you'll change some parameters. Not it will be in the very difficult method. No one can understand your equation, no one can understand your method. You will not put it clear that no one can repeat it. Then no one will read and no one will cite it. You see, high impact journals, not that mean guarantee if you publish your work in high impact journals, Q1 or Q2, you will get high citation. I give you an example. I put this data in 2021. You see these journals in Q1 journals, but number of citation is only 60 and it published in 2011. More than, you can see 11 years and only 60 citation. And this also other journal you see only downloaded 4 times. Here also very low citation paper in high impact factor. You know this journal's impact factor 41. But number of citation for this only 2. That means don't put your journal in difficult methodology, difficult equation, and no one can repeat it, understand. Journal published don't want 0 citation article. This is the most important things that editor can accept your work. When he feel like no one can repeat your work, even if it's good, your work is very good, you do good research, but it cannot be understood for a lot of researchers in the field. It may be give you rejected, even if your quality of your work okay, because journal needs citation. Journal don't need 0 citation or very low citation. This is I give you a quotation from one editor from remote sensing of environment. You see, he said the science static that 27% of our paper were not cited in 5 years. You can imagine 27%, a quarter of the paper, not to get any citation in the recently 5 years was disconcerting. It certainly indicated that it is important to maintain high standard when accepting paper. article will increasingly be checked on originality, relevant, acceptance now will get even harder. A journal is a gateway to community of a researcher with a common interest. Journals are a primary career to scholar community. New research release on original data, journal editor, reviewers, authors, readers. This is the community of the scientist. If you are others, you will get your passport to be community, one of the community of the scientist in your field. This is the passport to community to the field when you publish your paper. When you submit a paper, many people will invest in you. You can see your editor and reviewer invest time in considering, revising, and editing your paper. Researcher invest time in exploring your idea and findings. Publishers invest time and resources organizing the review process and building reviewer system. All this one will take time for your paper. Editor, reviewers, that means you need to give a good work. If your paper worth people time, is your paper worth people time? Quality, value is at the heart of the scholar communication system. Journal don't want report or no scientific interest. Don't just write your paper like you write a report or nothing interest in your paper. Work out of date. The topic already finished and you need to write about the topic is not the hot topic in this time. Duplicate of previous published work. You do same like previous published work. Same idea. And correct an acceptable conclusion. You do like the work, but in the conclusion it's not same what you need to achieve. Salami paper that is too small to be meaningful. Just only a small experiment or data and you need to publish. You see here, just because it's not be done before, it's not a justification for doing it now. No reason just to say no one do this one, I will do it. No, what is the benefit for the community? What the advance? What is the good manuscript? You can see here, a good manuscript leads reader to scientific significance immediately. You will get the scientific significance immediately. You see, content is essential. Contain a scientific message that is clear, useful, and exciting. Presentation is critical. Convince the author's thoughts in a logical manner such that the readers arrives at the same conclusion as the author. Constructed in the format that best showcases the authors. Material and written in a style that transmits the message clearly. You should have your idea clearly to the others. You see, good scientists deserve good presentation, not the sloppy account I read too often. This is the editor of the Carbon Journal. Work hard to satisfy reader expectation. What reader wants? The potential readers of your paper have a diverse level of expertise in your field. The paper should be written in simply enough to make it understandable and reproducible by graduate student. Like your paper should be simply enough that only graduate student, they start Ph.D, they start master can understand. And also they have deep enough to attract the experted people who are editor and reviewers. You see, all scientists, student or their advisor are usually very busy. They usually hope to find the most important information in the paper very quickly. It's important to write a well-structured, linked paper that allows readers to search for information quickly. In addition, a paper will be widely cited, used only if it's significant, can be understood without much effort, letting readers to find things where they expected to find. It's the key to clarity of the paper. I mean, all results should be in the sequence and clearly that easy to find, and most result to be in the abstract. Now we come to the main of the workshop. How to write a good manuscript for international journals. All that one is just introduction. Now The most important question everyone he will ask, how to write a good manuscript I can publish in high impact journal, Q1 or Q2. This is the 3 step you should do. Preparation before start, construction of an article, technical details. We will explain the 3 steps in details. First, check the originality of your idea at the very beginning of your research. Have you done something new and interesting? Is there anything challenging in your work? Is the work directly related to the current hot topic? Have you provided solution to any difficult problems? This is the 4 question you need to ask yourself before you start. Don't start your work and finally after you do a lot of lab work and you do a lot of important writing, then you discover there is no current hot topic or there is no challenging in your work or there is not interesting. If answer yes for this 4 question, then start preparing your manuscript, doing the experiment and writing the result and discussion and everything. Here, track the latest result regularly in your field. New and relevant articles get published all the time. Remind yourself about the new finding. When you do your lab work, maybe sometimes you spend 1 year. You should go every time to search for the new journal published in your field to know how they deal, what they use. Don't sometimes use factors or parameters they already published, then you will continue your work and lose your work and your time. Decide the type of your manuscript. There is full article, original article, the most important paper, open substantial, complete pieces of the research that are of significance. Is the original article, you do your lab work, you do your simulation, you do your validation. This is the original article. You did this result. Letter. If you heard about the letter or rapid communication or short communication, if you discover like a very good and the high quality of the result, maybe you send this one later to the editor of the journal. No need to write a full articles, and this communication should be sent it to the editor and it should be shorter and has good quality. Review paper, this is the 3rd type of the paper. Review paper, as you know, a lot of people write review paper, especially when you start your PhD, they will ask you to write review paper to understand what the previous work done in your work. This you summarize recent developed on a specific topic. Like review paper about what? About any topic, like about any bacteria, about any sensor, about like COVID-19, anything. You need to summarize all the recent study. Decide the self-evaluate your work. It is sufficient for a full article or your results to thrilling that they need to be showing as soon as possible. If you like have like a good result and very exciting, need like to be later, maybe you evaluate this one and ask also your supervisor and your friends about the result you have. It will be okay for later. This one is the first publication later. If not, you just go to the original articles. What's your choice? Like you not write the article for yourself. It's a great important to identify the sector of the leadership for your paper. Like you write your paper for electrical engineering people, medicine. Sometimes even if you are an electrical, but you write your paper to like medical engineering people, to any readers you need to go. Not write as I said, not lab work. And if you go to the conference, just write it in the format of the conference. Here you can, I give you like a lot of paper here. You can see 0 the citation. This one is not good for you and also for the journal. That's why most of the journal they rejected too much paper. You can see the reason now. This one is like locally near Taiwan, Japan. like some very specific study, you do it in like specific area, maybe cannot repeat it in the other area. This one no one can cite it because no one can use it. Choose the right journals, as we said before. Investigate all candidate journals to find out aims of the scope, type of article, readership, current hot topic. You see here, you can find in journals like this, ecotoxicology and biodiversity. Recent article, you will find what is the recent publishing paper. If your topic in one of this area, that's mean you will get high chance to publish in this. Choose the right journals. We said it's not gambling. This get help from your supervisor references. Not gambling. You just submit to the journal and you will see what is the result. Read the guide for the authors again and again. How your manuscript should be. How the text layout, figures, table. Like I give you example, very important for guide for the authors. Please ensure your paper has consecutive line numbering. This is an essential peer review requirement. He needs you to numbering the line and you submit your paper without numbering. This is the very important, he said. Now he will understand the editor unit, read the guide for the authors in his journal. Maybe sometimes they give you rejected, this rejected. Please ensure, or sometimes they will repeat, send you again to correct it. Please ensure the figures and table included in the single file are placed next to the relevant text in the manuscript rather than the bottom on the top. This is why journals need to have the figure and table in the same manuscript. Some journals they ask you to put figure and table at the end. Some journals ask you to put figure and table at the top. Some journals ask you to put figure and table in the separate file. Try to find what is the format for the journals. Use double spacing. All pages must be numbered, beginning with the abstract. Mean even the abstract should get the number. Divided your article into clearly defined and numbering section. Here they use 1.1, 1.11, 1.12. Some of them they use ABC. Check what is the divided for the numbering for the journal. Here they say regular research article must not exceed 8,000 words. Like imagine you prepare your research article, maybe is more than 8,000, and you spend time with either the editor, maybe you spend 1 month. Some editor take 1 month to reply, and they give you rejected because the word is more than 8,000. Now also you see, should we have number of figure and table here? They say not exceed 7. Only 7 figures and table. If it's like have more, you need to send letter to the editor to accept first. If you send it with more than 7, they will give you rejected, or sometimes they will ask you to revise, and this will take time. Construction of an article. All this one preparation before we start. Now, construction of an article. The general structure of an article is, you see here, title, authors, abstract, keyword, main text. You see here, introduction, method, result, and discussion. Sometimes at the end of discussion they put conclusion, and sometimes conclusion it will be also at the end. Acknowledgement, references, supplementary material. This is, I think all of you already read a lot of journals. They know this is the structure of the any journals. This title, authors, abstract, keyword, make them easily for indexing and searching. Informative, attractive, effective. And this one, we will explain all this one in details. The progression of the thematic scopes of paper should be, you come from general, then practical, particular, then general. However, write in the following order. For me, from my experience, how I write my journal, I don't follow like the this one, title, authors, abstract, introduction. The way I write it like this. I start first writing the methodology. First time I write the methodology in the clear. Then after that, I do the experiment. From the result I will get, I will draw the figures and tables. Now in my paper, I already have methodology and I already have figures, and table. Then I reported the result that already have in the figures and tables. After that, I make discussion that for the result I already get. After that, I go to the conclusion. When I finish the conclusion, I go to introduction. Then I will write the introduction. I know all the what have in the paper. Easy to have attractive introduction. After that, I will write the abstract. Abstract is summarizing all your work. You don't write your abstract before you understand all things in your paper. After that, when I have all this one, I can try to have a good, attractive titles. For example, if your discussion is insufficient, how can you objectively demonstrate the significant scientific significance of your work in the introduction? When you see the introduction discussion with others, now you understand what is the significant for your work. Now the step. Now we start the first step, the title for our manuscript. How can we write the title? What is the paper is broadly about? A good title contains the fewest possible words that adequately describe the content of your paper. Try to have as few words as possible. Effective title, identify the main issue of the paper, begin with the subject of the paper, are accurate, ambiguous, specific, and complete, don't contain and frequently use abbreviation, attractive readers. This is the title. You can see I give you one example for my paper I published in the journal Q1. You see comparison of culture independent and dependent approach for identification of native arsenic resistant bacteria and their potential use for arsenic bioremediation. You see here the main issue comparison. The specific for native arsenic resistant bacteria. This is the result for the bacteria I found for the culture independent and dependent approach. Now, the title honestly reflected the subject matter of the paper. You see easily when they start reading your title, when they go to the abstract, they see now the result. Then this one will attract the editor to send it for the reviewers. Does the title give a full and honest indicating of what is in the paper? You say this one, you can see one editor, you say, I received a paper whose title indicated that it concerned the preparation of carbon nanoparticle as a filler for polymer. But this was not true. The authors had only examined only primer. But he bought nanoparticles as a folly for the polymers. Even the title contains some word and they don't found it in the paper, directly they rejected your work. Sometimes they don't ask you to revise the title. Some of them they will ask to revise. But when they feel like the title in the way and there is no reflecting in the paper. And also this the editor said, another recent submission had a title that told me that a material was synthesized in argon pressure atmosphere. But he said I had to read well into the experiment part of the paper before I learned that the atmosphere was argon. There is no indicating of this in either the title or in the abstract. What is the other should have said that in high pressure argon, not right atmosphere, and he used argon. This one should be highlighted in the title and abstract. Keep a title short, remove all informative phrases such as study on, the natural of, etc. I give you like an example for the preliminary observation on the effective of salinity of benthic communication distribution. You see, it's better to have it in this short way. Effect of salinity and benthic distribution within the scalp is 3 North Sea. You see, it's the same title, but it will be short and also be specific. You can see this one, fabrication of carbon, and you see properties via electrospinning carbons. What is the properties you need to say in this title? You see, maybe easy to have it in this short. Electrospinning of carbon casual nanofibers with optical and electrical properties. This is finished from the title. We go to the order and evaluations. Second things, you write your name, your supervisor name, co-supervisor, your friend. This should be in the same. Choose your name like 3 or 4. You use abbreviation. Write it in the clear way. Like what is your faculty, what is your university. You are corresponding order. Who is the corresponding order? Keep your name and evaluation constant. Like you write it, your name, not like 3 names and other people 4 names, other people 2 names. Try to indicate your family names and give a name clearly. Like you see here, I use like 4 names, others I use 2 names. Depend, but try to be constant. Also, like for me, Micropolitan Research Center, I start with Research Center department. Try to use it in the same evaluation. What will happen if you use like different names? You can see this one universities when we need to search about this and how many papers for this university. They have different name and they will differentiate, they split their work in the different name. Like now, if you have like 3 name, 4, 2, the paper will come in the different. That's why university, like Technology Malaysia, always use Malay spelling, not use English spelling in the publication. This one to count it all the publication to the university. If you like you publish with different name, it will go to different publication. Now abstract. This is the most important. What has been done and what are the main findings? There are 3 main types of the abstract. Indicative abstract. This is outline the topic, convert the pieces of writing so the readers can decide whatever to read to entire document, often used in review. This indicative used in the review. I'll explain more. Informative abstract. This one come to the, I told you information, introduction, methodology, result, and discussion. You write it in this format, but you don't write like introduction, methodology. Structure abstract, follow the heading required by the journals. This one using for the medical journals mostly. They bought this one, introduction, objective, methodology. I will show you. Check carefully what type fits to the journal of your choice. Some journal ask you structure. I see this one mostly for the medical, but maybe can for engineering. Here I give you an example. Indicative abstract. This is for the review. You see this one. You start with background, the main topic, the wastewater treatment technologies I use here, what I compare. Issue discussed. This review discussed readily absorbent technologies. Informative abstract. I told you, informative, you go to introduction. You see this one, introduction. Sustainable water, wastewater treatment is one of the biggest. This is introduction until here. Then we come to methodology. In this study, I use dry watermelon rind until here. Then I go to result. According to the result, what has been done here until here, you can see. After that discussion, the best model fitting the data. Then what are the main findings? Informative abstract, you see here. Introduction, I give you another example until here. Then I go to methodology. Then I go to result. Then I go discussion. You can see here structure abstract. You see here in structure abstract. This is the journal asks you to do like this. You see the clinical biochemistry. Most of this one to the come to the medicine, but if you found like this, They will ask you background and aims. You should put this title, and you write under this title. Patient and method. Result. Conclusion. This one in abstract. Same, you can see applied microbiology, aims, methods and result, conclusion, significance and impact of the study. You write under this titles. The abstract is the advertisement of your article. A clear abstract will strongly influence the editor decision on whether your work will be further considered. It's the most important, your abstract. When you write it in the clear way, precise, honest, standalone. What the meaning of standalone? That when he read the abstract, he will understand all the work you done. What's the method you use? What is the most important method you use? What the most important result you get? What is the discussion, important discussion you get? When he can stand alone, this will convince the editor to send it for the reviewer. If he feel like in your abstract is not clear, most of the time, the editor not going to read your paper. If he feel your abstract is not okay, no a common technical jargon or citation, brief and specific. You see, I give you example. A multiple wall animated silica carbon nanotubes has been prepared. Its morphology before and after removing heavy metals has been demonstrated. You think this is one a clear abstract? For what? Has been prepared. How it's prepared? For what is prepared? And when you write in your abstract, its morphology before and after removing heavy metals has been demonstrated. What is the morphology? Important morphology in this nanotubes. And what is the heavy metals you use in your study? This one like a general abstract. Even you have a good result, but when we read like abstract like this, the editor, most of the time he will reject it because you don't give exciting result. You see here, very occasionally, one finding a statement such as the activated energy was determined to be 270 calorie moles in the abstract, but there is no mention of the value in the text. The abstract should be a concise summary of the text and should not contain any information that is not in the text. This is the editor of the carbon. Like imagine one journal, he said he rejected why he found like you mentioned in the abstract the calorie 270, but you don't mention this one in the result. Then the abstract should come from the result. That's why I told you start with the result discussion, then you write the abstract. How come you have this one in the abstract and you didn't mention this amount of energy in the result? You see here also, I recently asked and others the question, what does this mean about the statement in this in his paper? He had to use a word that does not exist in any dictionary that I have. How would a native English speaker understand it? The authors reply that if I only read the full paper, I would discover what it means. To which I reply that the point of my comment was that it should not be necessary to read the whole paper to discover what was meaning in the abstract. This factual point is not understood by many others. When the editor read your abstract, he will understand now what is your work. Not said like what I said in the previous morphology. If you ask you why what the morphology, you said read the paper, you know what the morphology. What the heavy metals, read the paper, you know what is the heavy metals. Has been prepared, how it's prepared, read the paper. No, the abstract should be clear. When I read the abstract, I know what is the most changing in the morphology. I know what is the most important in the method. I know what is the most important heavy metals you remove. Should be not said when you read the paper, you will understand. Because most of the editors, they don't read the papers, only read the abstract. If you feel like interesting, have good result, he will send it for the reviewers. Reviewers who will do the job for reviewing the content of the paper. See, this is one of the abstract. Normally, no references should be cited in the abstract. You cannot cite it because I said the abstract is the summary for your work. Not coming to cite it any articles, because even abstract sometimes cannot access the, and also you can see this abstract, it has a small grammatical mistake. He write it was should be yes. No need for that. No need for that. By many. When you have a grammatical mistake in the abstract, the editor will who will say, now he think if this all this mistake in the abstract, how about the introduction, result, discussion, methodology? The abstract should be nothing wrong in abstract. He directly said rejected because he will thought now if all this mistake in the abstract, how about the whole paper? Difficult to now send it for the reviewing. You can see this abstract. You have two details. No need to write it very two details. You see in the new way, in a very small. No need various temperature. Just write what the temperature you get. What is the amount you get? What is the way you would use? This one is specific and formative. You say here, use less phrases according to previous reported. This was explained by, just write it as this one should beside in the previous report has not been identified. If you write in the abstract has not been identified, then what is the important if your study if you don't identify this one? Some journal required a graphical abstract provided for the manuscript on the first submission. This is the extra abstract. Maybe you face this one. Some of them they need you to draw for your abstract, for easy for them to attract and to understand your paper about what. The graphic abstract is a consist pictorial form, which is carefully designed to capture the attention of the wide readership. Is prepared for completion of the data set. Serve to illustrate the theme of the paper are desired. May also be accompanied by the approximately text with strictly word, 30 to 50 words in the graphic abstract. Consult a research issue of the journals for the example of the acceptable graphic abstract. If you don't know how to draw your abstract, go to the journals, because some of the journals it's compulsory to submit graphic abstract. Go to the journals and see the paper related to your work, journals, and see how they draw. Then maybe you understand how to draw your abstract. Like this one, I published in Q1, the graphic abstract. You see here, this is the bacteria I use. This is for the wastewater. It has arsenic 3. After that, the bacteria remove and the water will be clear. Easy to understand from the picture what is the journal about it. And also another journal I published also in the this one Q2. You see this carbon nanotubes. I make functionalize for this carbon nanotubes. Then I use it for removing nitrate. You see it's a very limited word for the abstract here. No need to write too many words, not explanation. Just this one to attract. When you see this graphic abstract, it will attract the readers or the editors to go to your journals. Same this one, I use 3 different species of the bacteria for the wastewater with arsenic. Then it will be clear. Then the bacteria absorb the arsenic. You can see here, it will be easy to understand. And the number of the word is very limited. You can see here, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 only. Highlighted. Maybe some journals they ask you to make highlighted the importance in 3. Some of them they write 4, maximum 5 in one sentences. What is the most important of your journals? This is, you can see the summary to highlight it, like cultural independent approach indicated low diversity in arsenic. Certain bacteria can be isolated using the complementary between the 2 methods. You see, just in one sentences, a novel adsorbent Keyword. This is the keyword you put. It's very important, easy for the editor and the journal to send it for the reviewer. Avoid words with a broad meaning. Words selected should reflect the essential topic of your articles. Not write soil. If you do like work about soil. What do you mean of soil? Because soil has what is the contaminated with what? Contaminated soil, or what is the soil you need to study? You see, don't use abbreviation. At least this abbreviation is very common on your area. Like for biological, DNA, RNA, FFT, CM, ESM, FTR. This is very common. Everyone in the area, you know what the meaning of TR. You know what the meaning of PSM. You know what the meaning of SIM. You see here, I give you example for the keyword for my journal I published, this one in Q2. FTR, PSM, Isoder model, kinetic model, adsorption, nitrate ions. You see 6, 5, 4 keyword. Same this one, activated carbon, banana bell. This is in Q1 journals. FTR, phosphoric acid. Now we're coming to the introduction. We finished from the title, others evaluation, abstract. Now we come to the introduction. What problem was studied and why your work is necessary? Answer a serious question in the introduction. What is the problem? Is there any exciting solution you did? What is the best? What is the main limitation? What do you hope to achieve? You see here, provide sufficient background, general background here, convince reader that you clearly know. You see here, this is one of my paper I published in High Impact Journal Q1. Oh, you see, first in the introduction, I write general background. Arsenic is general distribution air class. Then I go to the brief literature review. Water polluted arsenic. You see, I give now the brief literature review. Problem investigated. What is the problem? Currently, there is no medical treatment for the RC, no causes. And the only guarantee way to of preventing chronic arsenic poisoning is to stop of ingestion of arsenic. This is the problem now. The arsenic, there is no medication, only how to remove. Now, the last paragraph highlighted the aim and importance of your study. What is the aim and what is the importance of your study? This is the last paragraph in the introduction. The objective of the study was to determine the efficacy of mixed dried biomass of the 3 strain to remove arsenic 3, arsenic 5 in different conditions. And also I use theoretical and experimental. And I use what is the machine I use. Now I give the importance of my study. If you publish something related to the new work or even something to be published, you can mention this in the introduction. If you do like publish something, you like use another method or anything things, you can put this one in your introduction. Our recent study, you say, and this, what is like reported in the previous study, you can compare this one with your previous study. Introduction is not a review article or a history lesson. Introduction I give here, this is the introduction. Should be like this. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. It's not like a history lesson. Like I give you here example. Rice is one of the major crops in the world. I give citation. Contribution 34.7 of the total nation grains production in the China. Then I completed this paragraph with 200 words. After that, I need to write about nitrogen. Is one of the 3 essential micronutrients for plant growth. Another nearly 300 description about general of the nutrients in the soil. You see, using model calculation and experimented. What the model I use? In the next 2 more paragraph. 1 paragraph or maximum 2 paragraph. Then the last paragraph based on previous study, we focus on. Now readers may well be exhausted if they ever read this one part. You can see 1 paragraph, 2, 3, 4, or maximum 5 paragraph introduction. If your introduction too long, maybe the reader will feel very difficult to get what you write it about. Okay, I'll give you example for one journal I published. You see current method for nitrate. See here, if the problem investigated is not addressed enough, especially the necessary of your work, reader will skim your paper when they cannot find the attractive point in that introduction. You can see here in the few of the required criteria, nanomaterials with high surface functionalized are well recognized. When they fail, what is the important? You will continue reading. You see here also, citing relevant references is very important in introduction. You see here, when I write it about the treatment of the wastewater, I cited the most references. Method. Now we come to methods. How was the problem study? How you try to solve the problem? The structure, organizing, content of this section depend heavily on the type of the paper. The basic principle is provide sufficient information to the acknowledgement readers can reproduce the experiment or the derivation. You can see there is 3 types of the empirical papers. This is the material study, method, case study, application of SINT method, special setting in this pieces of work, methodology papers. This is material and details. This is the methodology you write, the method, what you use. But this one, just only case study. This one you use empirical, model. This is the 3 and theoretical paper. You just write it, this one in the theoretical paper, especially for the social science. This one empirical paper, you see, provide operational definition, describe the method of data collection, unit of the analysis, identify the subject of the study, give the data of time period your collection, identify the static methods if they are used, symbol size, type of analysis, alpha statistical software used. You should have all this one. This is one example, like you can see here. This one also, you can see I already bought the location symbol. Case study. When you write a paper about case study, cited corresponding reference is it's necessary. Specify the value of the key parameters and the experimental setting for the keys. What is the parameters you need to study? You can see here one of my paper I published. This is the case study about air quality in the UTHM. I bought the location. What is the parameters for the all, like good, moderate. This is the standard. Then I use the case study according to this standard to see how is the air quality. Methodology paper is address the model and the theoretical framework of the methodology and cited the corresponding reference. This is very experimental in details if it's unpublished. If you do something that is not published, you need to write it in the details. It's not easy for others to repeat your work and cite it your work. And describe the test you did. You see here one of my paper, methodology. I already write preparation of multiple carbon nanotubes functionalized. I write in the details how I did preparation carbon nanotubes and how I bought functionalized groups. You see, I bought also picture in my what is the machine I used and model of the machine I used. Theory paper define the constructed model, indicate the corresponding simulation of application appropriate. You can see this is like theoretical, this is numerical model, major interface and secondary interface. Result. What have you found? Now come to number 7. What you found after you applied your methodology? What you found? The following should be indicated in the part. The main finding listed associated with the method. Highlighted differences between your result and the previous publication, especially in the case study paper. Result of statistical analysis. Result of performance analysis. a set of principal equation of the theorem. You see here, I put like numbering, just for easy to understand. Analysis of the simple metagenomic study, raw materials. You can see here, this is the result I get in my paper. You see the result of my present study also reveals significant similarity with the previous study. I get what is the similar my study with the others. Then difference which observed with what is the difference between other study. This study is the first to report. This is what the now I give similarity differences what the unique of my study. This is Megamonas brutifilla, and now there are number of reasons for these differences. Why my result is different from others? What is the reason? I give here the reason, and this one is just give scientific reason why you get this different. Now, very important, a figure is worth 1,000 of word. Don't feel the figure is not that important. It summarizes thousands of words when you write it your figures. That's why you should present it in the good way. Here they said, I don't remember the editor. I don't remember when I have argument about the other ship. People usually would ask why you don't count the figure to see how contributed, what, and how many figures. Not about how many figures you have. You think if you have many figures in your paper, that means you've done a lot of work, it will get accepted. It's the important how to show your figures. I give you now series important things. Make capture self-sufficient. What's the meaning? When I read the captioning for the figures, I will understand what the meaning of the figures. No need to see the figures and will ask me, go to read the text, you understand what the meaning of the figures. Here I show you one paper I published in this one Q1 journals. You see, PCM index. I show this picture for what? PCM index of non-living biomass of B. I put number B. Here, number A. This is, you can see here. Number A, what is it? This is the name of the picture. PCM index on non-living biomass. A, non-living biomass. Now, you can see spectrum index for A, spectrum index here B. This is before absorption, this is after absorption. I will from the caption, the readers can understand all meaning of these figures. Also, from this table, absorption of zinc by dry watermelon and other absorption from the literature. I put here absorption, I put capacity, I put the unit milligram per gram. No need to write it like absorption capacity of zinc. Then what is the unit? Go and read in the text. No, you should have it all the details in the table of figures. Don't repeat it. Like this one, he drew figures and he put tables for the same result. Just try. Your result is better to present it in table or figure. You should now to decide it. Like for this one, the graph repeated what is the table described, but table is like more clearly than figures. It's better to use table for this result, better than to use figure. Illustrated should be used only for essential data. You know, this one like he bought this table, but the difference is only in 3 colors. Like dark greenish brown to light olive brown, light olive brown. That means if there is like, you can see same. No need to put like this description. Maybe you put the what is the color, and inside the color put the materials, or put it only in the description. When there is only 3 or 4 category, just try to write it in the good way that can attract it. This one, you can see if you draw this one, the removal percentage in different pH from 3 to 9, the removal 90%. You think this one is meaningful to have graph? No, no need to have the graph for this one. Only put it in the text. There is no differentiate for removing of any meters like from 3 to 9 pH. When there is no difference, no need to write graph. You see here also, you put here 0, 0, 0, 0. Why including 0? When there is no differences between numbers, no need to be 0. Just write only number 53, 29, 22. You can write 3 or 4 data sets in same figures, but should be very clear. I will show you here one example. You can imagine, he writes these figures as a 4 data. You can understand anything from these figures. It's very difficult. If he write it like this, you can see at least he try to organize better. But if we write it like this, you see it will now give meaning. But before, cannot understand. As I told you, your figure can be understood without going to the text. This is the best. Same, you see right this table. The organizing of your work is very important for attractive the reviewers. You see, like it's better to write it like this. This percentage for all, no need to write it on the number. Put it up. Also this one, put it up. Meter, put it up. Color. Use color only when necessary. Like imagine, this team image should be in the color, you put it black and white. FTR, if someone who work in FTR, no need to have color, you put it in the color. No need to have color when there is no need for the color. And you should have the color when it's necessary. Because if you give this one, and I need to know what is the color, especially for some things that is important for the colors, it will give you like you need to repeat your work. Don't use color that cannot be read. You can imagine this one, he put like differentiate color, but you can see how many colors. I cannot notice what is the color in this picture. Should your work be sufficient that the reviewers can understand? If they don't understand like this, sometimes they will think your work is rubbish, they will reject your work. Avoid long and boring table like this one. Too many details. Just this one can divide it to 2. As I told you, should be attractive, easily to read. A few static roles for the result section, which tests were used, with all relevant parameters should be noticed. Like if you use standard division, you should have the standard division, like this one, like I have standard division, I will write it here. This one also, I see I put different in number 3 because there is difference from 3 numbers. If there is like 2, I put 2. If there is 1, like this one, I put same what I give you, differentiate. When reporting percentage, the total number should always be given. Like if you write 50%, 70%, you should write what the total number. If you write it B value, should write it how much B value. You see here, I put in this graph, one of my paper, like you see 80, 70, but 80 or 70 or 90 from what total number. You should write it in the graph with initial concentration 10 ppm. Now I will understand now. Like 75 from 10, like 90 from 10. This one also. When I say, I know now the initial concentration 20. Then I will understand this one percentage from 20%. This one also I put significant difference at B value less than 0.05. You should write it what is the parameters for you. Now we coming to discussion. Check for the following. How did your result reflect for the previous result? What is the differentiate? Are there any limitation? Don't make statement that is go beyond what the result can be supported. Like you some give discussion or anything that like this one, it will be very high sufficient and your result not sufficient. Give high sufficient. Don't give any sentences that is not supporting by your result. Or you bring something that is not supporting or new term that you don't use it in your result. You see here, I give you example for one of my paper. The result in the agreement with the previous studies with the reported of maximum absorption. I see here specifically this value of absorption were found to be between, which indicated proper absorption, and this is finding in the agreement with. Here I give what is the also I give here. Should if there is anything you write in the in fact, not that maybe this can be because you should write in the fact what is the fact for the differences or what is the fact for the result you get. Read again, ask your friends to read your result discussion again, check organization, number, quality of the illustration, revise result discussion. Sometimes you need to repeat some experiment, not just even read or check simulation. The conclusion, coming to the how your work advanced in the field for the present stated in the knowledge. A clear conclusion section help reviewer to judge your work easily. Don't present global and specific conclusion and relative to the objective. Indicate use extension and limitation if appropriate. Suggest future experiment and point out of this that are ongoing. Don't summarize paper. Paper not summarizing for the objective. Abstract will summarize. Make a list of three link statement of your result. Leave layer. As you see, my result is not good. In conclusion, this result is not significant. Don't put like bad word for your work. Make judgment about impact. The conclusion not big judgment or comparison. This one in discussion. You see, I give you an example for conclusion. Contribute to the particular area, practical significant extension, possible future work. You see here. This one, the study reported bacterial diversity, the important to evaluate there, and the enhancing by treatment of wastewater. This is the possible future work. Also, this is conclusion significant of the work. You see, this is a novel, absorbent, practical relevant. As a result, under same conditions, they can use it. And recommendation, better approach. This is the model can be used. Avoid gratuitous statement in conclusion. You see, it will be important to use extended absorption in the future for the soil treatment, but all your paper about water. Write positively. Don't try it. Might be possible. Might be underwater pressure. This mean nothing. Your conclusion, you already done your work. Should be why this one happened. Acknowledgement is the part you can write. Acknowledgement your friend who help you. Acknowledgement for the university. Anything you need to make thanks for it. But be careful. Don't put in the acknowledgement anyone he don't want to put his name. Maybe you put acknowledgement for your friend or any doctor or supervisor. He didn't know about this one. You should ask him before you write his name or any university before you get permission. Here I got like acknowledgement for University Technology Malaysia. This paper I already published in Q1 when I was in UTM. The grant, the Ministry of Higher Education of Yemen, because they give me Ph.D. scholarship. Last one is references. This is two types of references numbering, as you know, 1, 2, 3, and then alphabetical. They use A, B, C, D. Get your references clear. You can see here. Don't put in too much citation in your text. Like this one, 36 references. No, just write 3, 2, 4 maximum. Not put like same previous study and put 20 references. This one, like you can see, 4 to 8. It's better to write it for what? Like this one for carbon, nanometers. It's better to give details for the references in the text. You can see if there is more than 2, you put it all. If there is 2, you put the name. Avoid a lot of self-citation. If you have a lot of paper, don't try the forced citation. Just this is now as you know the references is easily because there is EndNote and sometimes Mendelin they used to handle and organizing the citation. The last supplementary data. This one, if you have like a lot of tables or picture that cannot be included in your whole paper and can be supporting, you can send it to the supplementary data. Sometimes you send like video when you do, especially for the medicine or video, sometimes a lot of picture. Technical details, this one easily just, as I said, this is suggesting for the double space, as I told you, size, Zion. This is the, when I told you right about different methodology, result discussion, but the paper should be in this organizing maximum 25 to 30 pages. Don't try to need to publish in the high impact journals with 10 or 20 or 11, 12 pages, or you come to 60 or 70. This will be thesis. I see here abstract 1 paragraph, introduction 1.5 and 2 maximum pages, method 2 to 4 pages, result discussion 10 to 12 pages, conclusion half to maximum 1 pages, figures 6 to 8, tables 1 to 3, references 20 to 60. Don't write too much. But the letter is different because letter, as I told you, is limited to 3,000 word. Abbreviation, or I told you, use something. Don't use too much abbreviation. At least it's you know in your field. Thank you for listening and good luck. And learn as you go. When you start your writing, you start your journey for publication, you will learn a lot. Hope you get benefits from today or workshop. And if anyone have any question.
All right. First of all, thank you very much to Dr. Wahid for this insightful sharing. Well, here comes our waiting Q&A session, and I believe our participants have a lot of questions already. So if you guys do have questions, please remember to leave the question in the WebEx chat box. Now, right now in the chat box, I have a few questions for Dr. Wahid. So let's move on to the first one. By one of the participants, by Stanley. What is the highest number of authors recommended for an article?
You know, there is no any, most of the journal, they don't put like limitation of the authors, but don't put like too much, more than like 12, 30, especially if there is not that, like some of you, if they know, like some other papers, maybe they have like 40, but that one is like have novelty. That can have a lot of authors. But for me, I prefer not more than 10. Try to have 8 authors. That's what my preparation. To have 8 to 10, not more than 10.
All right. So no more. All right. Thank you, Dr. Wahid, for answering this question. So next we have another question from Ahmad Ramli Rashidi. It says that Turnitin is commonly used for plagiarism detection. Can we exclude sources that make up less than 1% of the total in a setting? Because less than 1%, most of the time, it is just a common word used in writing.
Actually, during my journey for publication, most of the journals, they accept to exclude 1%. Some of the journal I face, like last time one journals I sent, they don't accept it to have exclude 1%. This depends on you. Like I told you, most of the journal accept to exclude. But if the journal asks you is not accepted, like plagiarism coming to more than, like if he ask you less than 20%, and it will give you like more than 20% because there is no excluding, this is your choice. To paraphrase to less than 20% without excluding, or just go to another journal that will accept excluding less than 1%. Because as you said, sometimes it's like common word, common equation cannot be paraphrasing. This one, it's okay, just leave that journal and go to other journals. But if there is sentences or word can be paraphrased, and you feel that journal is okay, suitable for your paper, okay, maybe deserve your paraphrasing work.
All right, thank you, Dr. Wahid. So I'm moving on to the next question by Abdul Wahid Aman. He asked that if a study is just like a good characterization of a sample but doesn't address a clear problem, is it possible to publish in a high impact journal?
I told you, if there is like, you need, most important, to have like attractive result, and try that result, you get it, try to get what is the similar with others, what is the different with others study, to show now you are not unique in your study. There is a lot of studies did in that area. Show what is the similar, what is the difference, what is the unique for your study characterization, what is found, and why that one. If you can present it in the good way and good picture, and you use a good characterization machine like FISM or FTR, XRD, almost it can be accepted in the high impact journals. Especially if you have like picture from the machine, FISM, FTR, FR, XRD, or other that can you show the unique and the picture of your work in the real way.
All right, thank you, Dr. Wahid, for this for answering this question. So let me see. All right, dear participants, do you still have any questions that you would like to address so that we will have Dr. Wahid to clear the air for you? If so, maybe around another 5 minutes to see if anyone still has questions.
A copy of a slide, I will send it maybe to Dr. Amri, and maybe he will forward it to you if you have like emails or groups. I don't know. And also,
yes.
if you're
Yes,
recording
Dr. Wahid. Thank you very much for sharing
if you
the
I
regarding
don't know if you
the slide.
okay, I will send the slide to Dr. Amri, and if you recorded this one, maybe you send it also to the group.
Yes. I will definitely disseminate the slide if you wish to share.
It's okay, and also some of them they will ask about recording. Have you recorded this
Yes, of
lecture?
course. I will basically process the recording
Okay, maybe
and
you send record for the audience and the material slide.
yeah, sure.
Dr. Wahid, there's another question for you. It is from another participant by name of Wei Kin Fan. He asked that for determining the title of our paper, do we have to make it related to our keywords? If so, how?
I told you what, like when you need to write your title, should understand these things. Should be short enough and be clear enough. Don't write too many words and don't make it too short. And reflected the word to the work, like what I show you now. Don't, what you write in the title should reflect it to the result directly in the abstract. Like when you come to the you see the title. When I put the title, should be the main issue and specific issue, like removal of what is arsenic from using, like what is the main, what is specific, and what you write it in your title, you will find it in the result directly. You can see here. Not you write it in the title, because I told you most of the editor they read the title and the abstract, not going to read all your paper. When you write something in your title and not attractive and cannot be found in the result, sometimes you will not proceed to your paper to reviewers.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Wahid, for this question. So since we have limited time and probably there's no more questions in the chat box. So we have come to the end of our online forum today. So once again, I want to say thank you, Dr. Wahid, and it is indeed a pleasure to have you as our guest speaker for this insightful seminar. So I hope that the tips and tricks shared by Dr. Wahid will be useful and give motivation to our participants to write your proposal, to write your technical paper, and most of your research papers. So before we end, I'd like to thank UTM SPS and RCC KDOJ for their hard work. So with this, I'd like to pass this session back to Dr. Amri.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rickson. Basically, I would like to say big thank you to Dr. Wahid for giving very precious sharing. I think it's not sharing; it's more like a comprehensive lecture and training lah, basic training. And as per discussion, last discussion with Dr. Wahid, I believe we're going to have a more series with Dr. Wahid, right?
Inshallah.
Yeah. So maybe if the situation is permitted, we could have like a hands-on workshop where participant can bring your drafted papers, and then we together go through, and perhaps maybe next time if we cannot meet face in physically, perhaps we can do it online. We can arrange, but please again, thank you to Dr. Wahid and all the committee for organizing, and also the participant for staying until the end. And don't worry, we will continue to deliver more talk regarding especially to help you on your academics. Okay, so with that, I say thank you, and good night to everyone. Okay, stay safe. Okay.
Thank you for all.
I think we
Thank
take
you,
a photo.
Doctor.
Right?
Thank you, everyone.